I open my eyes to realize that I am snuggled into Hieronymous's chest. Our legs are intertwined together, and he is smoothing down my hair, running his hand down the bare skin of my back. The gesture is soothing, and I can't help but smile as I relax into him. I didn't expect that sleeping together would magically fix things between us, but I couldn't deny that I felt better than I had in ages. "Good morning, Mrs. Grabiner," he says softly as he kisses my forehead, and I can't help but grin as I snuggle into him. "Did you sleep well?" "Mm-hmm," I reply happily. "Last night was really good." "I just want to make you happy, Tori," Hieronymus says softly as he kisses me again. "That's all I want." "Well, that was a good start," I tease him. "I missed you." "I could tell," Hieronymus replies with good humor in his voice, and I can't help but giggle as I reach up to kiss him. "There's my girl." "Can we do that every day?" I ask, and Hieronymus just chuckles as he kisses me again. "Perhaps," he says as he pulls away, propping himself up on one elbow. "I do have a question for you, though." "I'm not that sore," I say, already anticipating his question. "I'm ready to go again whenever you are." Hieronymus just chuckles as he takes my hand and kisses the back of my knuckles. "I do love how insatiable you are, but no, Tori, it's not about that." "What is it then?" I ask, but a sudden feeling of dread has slipped down into my stomach before I could even finish speaking. "I was just wondering about the Manus," Hieronymus says softly. "You said something to summon him." "That's his name," I reply. "Pajorjan." "Interesting," Hieronymus muses. "How did you learn his name?" I just stare at him as I pull the blankets around myself and sit up. "Did you really just fuck me so that I drop my guard and tell you everything that happened while you were gone?" "No," Hieronymus says smoothly. "Of course not, Tori. You were so commanding and in control. I don't think I've ever seen you like that before." His hand moves to caress my upper thigh, and I let him as I move back into the circle of his arm. He cups my face in one hand as he kisses me, stroking my cheek with his thumb. We lie like that for a while, just trading slow, lingering kisses as I snuggle into him. Right now, he was calm, and if I was going to tell him what really happened, it would probably be better if he was relaxed and comfortable with me. He was only going to keep asking, and he had a right to know. The longer I kept this from him, the worse it would be when the truth finally came out. "All right," I say gently. "Ask your questions." "Not if you're not ready," Hieronymus replies, but I just shake my head. "It's going to have to come out sooner or later," I admit. "I'd rather do it when you're like this. Some of what you're going to hear is going to be upsetting, and I don't know how you'll handle it." "Given that the Manus is only supposed to appear when a Grabiner is in mortal danger, I could assume," Hieronymus continues. "I just want to make sure you're all right, Tori. Are you all right?" I hesitate for a moment before I shake my head. "Here, come here." Hieronymus sweeps me up in his arms, and I press my face into his neck, feeling like a child that needed to be comforted during a thunderstorm. "It'll be easier if you ask me questions," I say as I lie back down next to him, playing with his fingers as I lie on my back. "Just not ones that require long answers." "Do you know what happened to me?" he asks. "Damien's father, the Demon King, worked with someone to slip you golden syrup," I explain. "I don't know when or how. I just know that you didn't write to me for weeks after Valentine's Day, and then you never showed up to Virginia's wedding." "That's right," Hieronymus says as he pauses in consideration. "How was their wedding? Was it every bit as—" "I don't want to talk about that," I say with a clear note of annoyance in my voice. "Do you remember anything?" "No, Tori," he says as he shakes his head. "I remember spending Valentine's Day with you, and I remember traveling through the other world, but I don't remember being poisoned. He pauses. Who is this someone? Is it someone we knew? I literally close my eyes as I swallow hard. I feel tears starting to well up with emotion in my chest, but I push them down and away. Musette. Hieronymous lets out a deep sigh as he shakes his head, and I can't help but sniff as I feel emotion welling up in my chest again. Tori, shh, shh. It's okay. It's not your fault. Yeah, but it is, though, I remind him. Ellen got expelled because of Musette. I got expelled because of Musette. You almost died because of Musette. If I hadn't helped her, if I had just told you about her to begin with, none of this would have happened. You had no way of knowing what could have transpired, Hieronymous says softly. If anything, she could have saved me, if her intentions had been different. There was no way to know that saving her then would lead to the events as of late. I pause for a moment as I consider this. He was right. If she didn't know that Ellen was expelled and saw Hieronymous being attacked, it was possible that she might have come to his aid. Well, she's dead now, I said quietly, so it doesn't matter either way. Hieronymous pauses as he stares at me. Were you involved in that? I just shrug. Yes and no. Hieronymous is quiet for a moment as he seems to consider what I had told him so far. You said that the Demon King did this to me, which means that my body would have been trapped in the other world, completely at his mercy. Were you the one that got me out? I just shrug. Among others. You brought your friends with you? Hieronymous demands incredulously, but I just shrug. How many of you were there? I pause for a moment, reflecting. More than 100? I ask, trying to think back. There were a lot of them. I didn't keep count. More than 100? Hieronymous asks dubiously. You sent the whole school after me? No, I just mean Commander Jackson and his men, I explain, and Hieronymous stares at me incredulously. I had been seeing ominous images in the scrying orb. I wrote to Melodia telling her that I was concerned, and she told me to be careful, warning that something was coming. She sent Commander Jackson and his troops to support us in the battle. In the battle? Hieronymous does sit up now, his face starting to take on the intimation of Professor Grabiner. Tori, what the bloody hell did you do? I just close my eyes and cover my face with my arms, willing myself to disappear. Oh no. Hieronymous grabs my arms and pulls them away from my face, but I just look straight past him. Tori, did you seriously charge headfirst into the other world to try to save my life? I scrunch my eyes shut, refusing to answer. How could you do that? How could you be so stupid? You could have been killed. What if he had taken your life as well as mine? That was the point, I say testily. Hieronymous just stares at me, and I can feel tears begin to form in my eyes as I roll over onto my side, away from him, as I pull my knees into my chest. Hieronymous is quiet for a long moment, and when he tries to speak again, his voice is soft. Tori, please tell me what you meant by that. What was the point? Who was trying to take your life? Your father, I snap at him. I hadn't meant for it to sound so angry and scathing, but I suddenly realized that I had anger, and a lot of it. My father tried to kill you? Hieronymous asks, crossing his arms over his chest. I don't believe it. That man is many things, Tori, but he would never... I am stronger than you, I say as I roll on him suddenly. The solemn bond connected me to the old magic. It makes my connection to the other world stronger than yours. You are more experienced, but that connection to my spirit magic made me a much more valuable alternative. Your father came to me at Virginia's wedding and told me you were in trouble and insisted that I go with him. I had no idea what was going on. I touched the orb, thinking that we were going to Ravane, but it brought me to this hellish volcanic landscape. Your father made a deal with the Demon King to switch our places. I would fall under the golden syrup, and you could walk free. Hieronymous is staring at me now, all color drained from his face. I can see that he wants to deny it, but the emotion in my voice is too strong, and I always was a terrible liar. There was absolutely no reason to lie to him. Not about this. But you're okay, Hieronymous says softly, looking me over. You didn't... No, I say with a quick shake of my head. No, the Demon King said he needed my consent to switch our places, and I told him that I wouldn't do it. I knew you would never be able to forgive yourself, or me, if you woke up and found out what I had done. And, also, he's a demon. There's no guarantee he was going to keep his word anyway. Hieronymous is staring at me now, and I just shift uncomfortably. I always thought that he would have wanted me to be safe, that he wouldn't want me to have made the deal, but maybe I was wrong? Suddenly, Hieronymous launches himself at me as he wraps his arms around me, pulling me into him. Thank you, he says softly. Tori, I don't have words. I am very proud of you. I would never want you to sacrifice your life for me, no matter what the circumstances. Yeah, well, I can't help but shrug to try to conceal my blush. Since I turned down the deal, he said that meant the end of the Grabiner line and told his minions to kill us all. There were thousands of Piskies, and Aloysius ran off somewhere, so it was just me, Virginia, Minnie, and Jacob fighting them off all on our own. After they heard you were in trouble, they left the wedding to help. I paused for a moment. Oh, yeah, and Musette was there too. She was mostly just watching, though. While they were holding off the Piskies, I tried to fight her, but she got the upper hand and almost killed me, if not for your Manus. I asked him to defend your body, and that's when the Piskies started attacking you as well. We were fighting together, and I blocked a shot with my body to try to protect him, just like how I protected Bej last year. He is there for your protection, Hieronymous says sharply. You shouldn't put yourself in danger to protect him. Minnie was able to heal me a bit, I say quickly. And besides, if I didn't help him, I'd probably be dead right now. Hieronymous glares at me, silently urging me to go on. The Demon King grabbed me. He had me in his left hand and Aloysius in his right. I don't know where he came from. I thought he teleported out of there as fast as he could. Anyway, the Demon King scorched us with a wave of fire. Aloysius ordered the Manus to protect him, and since he could only protect one of us, I thought I was a goner. But the Manus decided to protect me instead. Hieronymus's brow furrows. But my father is the head of the Grabiner household. He is the one who procured the Manus into service. Why would he protect you? I just shrug. After the attack, the Manus said something to me about how nobility isn't determined by blood, or something like that. Either way, he asked for my permission to rest or something, so I gave it. I thought he was dead until he showed up later, protecting me from the booby trap you set on your lab. What? Hieronymus demands darkly. You went through my office? Yeah, I tell him simply. Yeah, I didn't look through too much, though. When we first got back, I just started exploring all of the rooms to pass the time. The Manus told me to cast spirit echoes on your memory machine so I could watch how you extracted my memories completely without my knowledge. Hieronymus sighs as he closes his eyes. I have already apologized for this, Tori, and I have not taken any of your memories since you became aware of it. I just press my lips and shake my head, not really knowing what to say. Hieronymus just sighs as he decides to change the subject. So, I take it from your story that my father is dead, then? I close my eyes and nod. Hieronymus sits back a bit and seems to take some time to consider this. I just let him have as much time as he needs, watching him brush his thumb against his lower lip as he thinks. And how did you escape? He asks at length. I finally got Musette to open up about how much she missed Ellen, I explain. I used that to reason with her, and she sacrificed herself to take out the Demon King with some mystical orb she found that could supposedly kill any demon. Hieronymous nods, and I stare at him for a moment. Are there really mythical orbs like that? There are, Hieronymous admits. But, as you already so learned, they require a sacrifice. Fortunately, even though she was just a spirit, it seems to have been enough. I just nod quietly. After that, Commander Draxon helped us get home. We were all pretty messed up, so the staff here healed us, and then my friends spent time in the library trying to figure out how to wake you up. Minnie reached out to Ms. Darden to see if she could perform another solemn bond, but it wouldn't work since you weren't dying, only sleeping. That gave us the idea to try to get into your dream. I practiced on Virginia before I tried it on you. But once I saw you in there, and you seemed so happy, I figured you just didn't want to leave. And so my friends left, and I haven't actually talked to them since. You need to talk to your friends, Tori, he reminds me. You need to go back to school. I haven't talked to Potsdam at all, I tell him. I just never went back. Marriott told me she collected my things from my room at the end of the year, but I was in Shetlock at the time. You seem to have taken up a fair amount of my responsibilities, Hieronymous observes. What have you done? I just groan as I roll back onto my back, rubbing my face with both hands. How much time do we have?